So my personal motivation for starting Sociability is really based around my own lived experience as a wheelchair user. I moved from Australia to the UK about 6 years ago, and I found it really difficult to find any information about the accessibility of accommodation. I got more and more people asking about whether or not I knew accessible restaurants or cafes or bars or places they could go. And so Sociability really grew out of this kind of organic need. So what does Sociability do? It's a mobile app that you can download for free that allows disabled people to look up the information about the accessibility of local venues. And the idea is that if you want to know whether or not that space is accessible to you, depending on whatever your needs are, step-free entrance or a braille signage, then you can find that information, have the confidence to go, and then most importantly, go.
Pollution is an invisible killer. It kills millions of people globally every year, and what people want is to be able to breathe clean air. And what the app does is provide the general public with the data on what the air is like, but it does it in a visual way, so it's really easy to understand when the air quality is good and when the air quality is bad. For parents and carers, they can use that information and they can change their behavior in terms of how they get to school. Schools can decide whether to do PE classes indoors or outdoors based on what the air quality is like outside.
Fix My Street's been running for years and years, and it was originally thought of because our director used to leave his house to go to work every day, and every day he would walk past a phone box that was broken, and every day he would think to himself, oh, you know what, I should really report that phone box to somebody, but I don't know who, like the local council or the phone company, or is some other person responsible for fixing it. So he had this idea of a website where you didn't have to know who was responsible. You could just say there's an issue here and the site would send it off to the right person to get it fixed.
My personal motivation for coming up with this idea about Be My Eyes is because I'm almost blind myself. So I do have a certain self-interest in having this tool. Be My Eyes, in the very short version, is a way that a blind person can get visually assistant through a smartphone just by clicking on one button, and we will find a volunteer and connect them and have a live video chat.
Sociability uses a variety of mobile phone features, 3 of which in particular are important. The first is the ability to access the phone's camera. So whenever a person is uploading information on Sociability, we really encourage them to take photos. That really helps people have the confidence and give them the peace of mind that what they're looking at will be suitable for them. The second part is around geolocation. It's this idea that when you press the button, the phone knows where you are, and that means it can show you venues that are nearby. And the third part is this idea of creating user profiles, storing people's data so that when they search for something, it's already preset, and it means that we can filter the search results really quickly in a way that makes sure that everything that a person sees is super relevant to them.
When you think about it, everybody's walking around with this really powerful device in their hand that can connect you with a local government. So you can see this as a machine for making society better, and all it takes is pressing a couple of buttons. It's not even hard.
So the advice that I would give teams of students coming up with a social action app is to first solve a problem that you or someone that you care about has. In any business or organization, the most difficult thing is to get your first users. If you can be the first person, or someone you know well can be the first person to use the app, then you've already overcome the biggest hurdle.
I'm not a technical person, so what has been important and totally amazing for me is to have a team around this idea, because I cannot build an app myself. I had to have someone. So having a team around your idea, I think, is the most important advice I will give to anybody. I had no idea that Be My Eyes would turn into a worldwide app, and I'm pretty sure that your people can do the same, and so if they get the right idea and get the team behind it, it will be amazing.